What's up, guys? Artem MMA Analysis here. Thought I should just talk about the main event of UFC 278, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. I got lucky. I'm gonna admit it. I got lucky. I picked Leon Edwards to win. He won. It's a great I told you so moment though, because the amount of people that were saying I lost credibility for picking Leon Edwards is actually kind of crazy. But let's just talk about the fight. Leon Edwards won the first round, took down Kamaru Usman, controlled Usman for a little bit, almost locked up a rear naked choke, or at least he was working for it, and then after that, Kamaru Usman really started to take over. Leon Edwards, he looked like he was gassing, or he was like giving up at times, and Usman was pressuring him forward and landing combinations against the cage, really good combinations against the cage, taking Leon Edwards down at will at times, but Edwards was still showing pretty good takedown defense, in my opinion, really good takedown defense. And he ended up winning in the fifth round by knockout, which is actually crazy to think about, but yeah, it's mad, but I think we should talk about the future of what's going to happen here, because it's bad, but it's good. Dana White did not want Kamaru Usman to lose, because they were going to promote him as the greatest of all time, and this and that, pound for pound #1. But I think it's great, because what they're going to do now is they've got a UK champion. They're trying to build UFC in the UK. Like, they've got 2 fights in London this year, 2 fight cards in London this year, that is, and Dana White has said the Trilogy could be in Wembley Stadium. They might be doing the Trilogy in Wembley Stadium, 90,000 capacity. To kind of put that in perspective, 18,000 people attended UFC 278. Wembley Stadium potentially for the UFC could put 4 times or more people in one space to watch the fight. That is insane to me. That's actually crazy, and I think that I think Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3 could potentially bring that. I mean, I'm not from the UK. I don't know how big of a name Edwards is there. But you've got Paddy Pimblett. You've got maybe Tom Aspinall could make a return in 6 months' time or 7, 8 months' time, which is what they're probably going to give Usman to recover from a KO. Maybe you could put Molly McCann on the card. You could, who else is from the UK? Jack Shaw. You've got Ilia Topuria as well. I think he's from Georgia, though. You've got, Cyril Gane from France. Yeah, those kind of names. I'm really sorry, but yeah, you could put your stars on that card. I mean, if you're gonna sell 90,000 tickets to a fight, you've got to stack that card. They might even put McGregor on that card. They might even do that. Like, if you're gonna sell 90,000 tickets, you need some big names on there, man. And maybe Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3, Conor McGregor co-main event. I know Conor McGregor won't like that, and he probably will want to be the main event, but it wouldn't make sense because he won't be fighting in a championship fight. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman 3. We know that there's going to be a trilogy. Usman has earned a trilogy. Obviously, like, there's no... Or Usman should win one more fight. It's Edwards versus Usman 3. Unless there's one thing that could ruin this though. If Nate Diaz, honestly, if Nate Diaz defeats Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz has said, I know in the Ariel interview he was trashing the UFC, but he did say, I wouldn't even mind re-signing to the UFC. So if it's a win-win situation, that fight, I don't want to go into it too much, but if Nate Diaz beats Khamzat Chimaev, the UFC will probably be like, look, we'll give you a title shot and we'll give you more money if you re-sign with us. And Diaz might even want that for legacy. He might even want that for his tough guy, bravado sort of stance or whatever. But yeah, I don't think he fights Chimaev. I think he fights Usman in a trilogy because that's the fight that makes sense. You know, I think they'll probably have to do Khamzat versus Colby Covington or something like that. But yeah, man, I'm pretty happy. It feels good because so many people doubted me. So many people said that this pick ruined my credibility, where if you had 2 eyes, you know, this is not a credibility ruining pick. Like, this isn't picking Harry Hunsucker, you know, to beat Tyson Pedro. This isn't picking this person or this person to beat someone where it's just unanimous who's going to win. Like, this wasn't a credibility ruining pick, and I'm glad Leon Edwards got it back. He made my soul happy, you know. He made me happy. He really did. And yeah, let's talk about the future. So there's no UFC next weekend anyway, which gives me a little bit more time to look at UFC Paris, which is going to be great. Unfortunately, Cedric Doumbé's not on the card. That kind of ruins it for me. I was really excited for Cedric Doumbé's UFC debut. If you guys don't know that, Cedric Doumbé is a 2 times Glory World Kickboxing Champion, but because he's only like 3-0 or 2-0, the French Commission won't let him fight anyone with more than 6 fights in MMA. So, is what it is. They didn't want to sign someone just to fight Doumbé, so they cut him, which sucks. But yeah, I might be doing a UFC 278 full card recap with another YouTuber, Any Action Sportscast, or I think it might be Any Action FE now. He's changed his name. It's confused me a lot, but I might be doing a full card recap with him because he picked Leon Edwards as well. Let's go. And what else are we going to be doing? Oh, I'm going to start doing something called Hall of Fame predictions and Wall of Shame predictions. So what I'm going to do next week is, because I've got heaps of free time now to go through all of my picks, and instead of researching a UFC card, I'm going to be doing Hall of Fame picks, so my best picks that I've ever done, like Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman will probably be on there. I think Kai Kara France to defeat Askarov will be on there too, but you guys will vote for those. So it's going to be on my Instagram. I'm going to put polls up, and if you guys agree that it's a Hall of Fame worthy pick or not. And Wall of Shame picks, just terrible predictions that I've made that have just been awful. I think Charlie Ontiveros versus Gabriel Benitez might be the first one that comes to your mind. If you guys have another one that I've picked completely wrong, let me know. I've made some terrible predictions, but I've made some brilliant ones as well, and I think this is one of my better ones. And I know we was losing the fight. I know I got lucky. I'm pretty open to admit that, but yeah, that was good, man. It was a great card. I'm not going to recap the whole card in this video, though. I just wanted to talk about the future, about what it's going to do. This is going to boost UK MMA a lot, and I think that's brilliant. And also, they've got Tony Ferguson fighting Li Jingliang. That's going to boost Chinese MMA a lot if Jingliang wins, which I think is great. I do love the fact that China is starting to have a good MMA scene. I'm really excited for Bellator, who's 23-3, and I'm hoping the UFC signs him or puts him on Contender Series or does something with him. But yeah, man, if you rocked with me with the Edwards pick, I feel good for you, man. He was like plus 300 or something closing, and it feels good, man. It just feels good. Is how it feels, man. But Usman had a great performance. I will pick Edwards in the trilogy, despite he was losing the whole fight. I think this fight might change Usman's mentality. He might not think that he's unbeatable anymore. This is going to give Edwards a lot of time to recover. Sorry, not recover, to get better, because he's going to have to wait for Usman to recover, and then for Usman to get in another training camp again. And Leon Edwards is going to be training the whole time and improving the whole time, you know. So yeah, I think this is good. I think it's good for UK MMA as well, because UFC's really trying to build a fan base in the UK, and I think they're going to put on a card in Wembley Stadium, as Dana White has mentioned. And I think that would be huge. I think that would be huge for the sport. I don't think they've ever fought in a stadium before. I could be wrong about that, but this will probably be the biggest arena or stadium they've ever fought in. 90,000 people. Imagine if they sell out. Imagine if they sell out a 90,000 ticket stadium. That would be sport changing. That would change the sport. It really would. And I think they're going to have to stack the card. If they're going to sell 90,000 tickets, they're probably going to have to put McGregor on that card. Or put Charles Oliveira on that card. He's a big pay-per-view draw. Who else have they got as a huge pay-per-view draw in the UFC? Off the top of my head. My head isn't working. Maybe Max Holloway returns on that card. Maybe Nate Diaz re-signs to the UFC, fights on that card. I don't think he will, but he could. Jorge Masvidal on the card, maybe. I know Leon Edwards said he'd give the title shot to Jorge Masvidal. That's not happening. Let's be realistic. Yeah, I just think I'm trying to think of fights that make sense. But I think Paddy Pimblett on the card, Molly McCann on the card. Maybe you can convince Conor McGregor to be a co-main event. I think that will be a tough ask, but I think that Conor McGregor will probably be ready to return in 6 to 8 months time, and I think he might respect the fact that they've got another UK champion enough to fight on the card. I was almost thinking, like, call me an idiot, like I'm gonna look like a fool, but when they said a fight in Wembley Stadium, I was like, man, like, you might even be able to tempt Michael Bisping out of retirement to fight Luke Rockhold in the Trilogy, but because they're both retired, obviously. But maybe that would be tempting enough for Bisping to come back. But I was like, Bisping's never gonna get a fight, you know, unless he fights in like some unregulated region of some other part of the world. But yeah, I thought that as soon as he said that, I was like, man, like Michael Bisping might come back for that. But I know he's like 40 years old and so injured, but. Hey man, if it's going to tempt anyone out of retirement, that would be it, but obviously not. I'm just an idiot. I am an idiot sometimes, you know, like this almost looked dumb for me, but I'm happy for Edwards, man. I really, really am. And the thing is, I'm not even sad for Kamaru. I'm really not. He was cheating during the fight. He was fence grabbing the whole fight, and then when Leon Edwards noticed that Kamaru Usman was fence grabbing the whole fight, he started fence grabbing, and then he got called up for it, which I thought was a little bit unfair. But yeah, Usman's a cheat in and out of the cage, and it just feels good to watch him lose, man. It's great. And yeah, that's it, man. Also, oh, it's so good as well. Trevor Whitman. I've always loved Trevor Whitman. I always have, but that guy has started to annoy me. Like his attitude towards the Rose Namajunas fight, and then that was what got me the big time. The Rose Namajunas attitude, and now the Kamaru Usman as well. Like it's just, whew, he's got no belts anymore, and that kind of sucks because Trevor Whitman is probably the single greatest coach in the sport, maybe, or he was anyway. Yeah, Trevor Whitman's a great coach, but he was starting to annoy me, and it sucks for him, but yeah, it's. Whew, that camp has been humbled big time, man. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So that was it, man. That was it. I'm pretty happy, man. I'm glad Edwards won because Edwards has been touted to be the guy for years to beat Usman as well. Like this isn't just Edwards might beat Usman like a couple months before the fight. Not me saying it, but a lot of people have been saying Edwards is the guy, and they finally put Edwards in with Usman. Look what happened, man. Yeah, I'm happy for Edwards. I really am. The timing was right. You know, it was great. And anyway, Edwards' next fight, no matter who it's against, Usman's next fight, no matter who it's against, I think they'll match each other. Will be huge. Wembley Stadium. Surely they do it, man. Surely, I want to see it. I mean, damn, man. Yeah, it's too far away for me to fly out to and watch. Like, I just want UFC to come back to Australia, man. I'll come and watch that. But yeah, I'm rambling. I think I just wasted a few minutes at the end. But hopefully you guys didn't mind my chat. I'll see you in the next one. Really appreciate it. Good things come in from my channel, hopefully. Also, I mean, this has just ended up being a chat about me. But also, I'm going to start working 5 days a week, not 6 days a week in the future. So I've got more time for YouTube, which will be good. So hopefully my channel quality increases. I'll look into that. I'll look into a podcast, this and that. I promised you guys a podcast at 2K subscribers. I've got a guest in mind. I've got one guest in mind that I really, really want on the podcast. So I hope that happens. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end.